Hey, Henry.
Hey, Mom. I was just calling to tell you that I am dropping out of college to play poker.
Are you kidding?
Hey, that's me, and I'm dropping out of college to play poker. I currently have $50,000 in my bankroll, but I need to double it and make $100,000 by the end of the summer, or my parents will disown me. 3 long years of school all leads to this moment. Time to officially drop out of college and grind poker. 3, 2, 1. Now you might be wondering how I got here. Well, my name's Henry, and I've been playing poker for about 2 years now, building my bankroll bit by bit. But during this time, I've also been at business school, learning accounting and other brain-numbing tasks. And I'm supposed to be entering my senior year of college. 1 more year, and then I finally graduate. And after that, well, then what? I don't want to spend the next 40 years of my life working some shit corporate job. So I had to make a choice. Continue down my current path and slave away in a suit and tie for the rest of my life, or play poker and become stupidly rich. And that's how we got here. Oh my god, I'm so excited. No more school. All I gotta do, all the time, is grind and play poker. Oh boy, I'm ready. It's clear I wasn't going to be able to return home right now. I needed to choose where I'd stay for June, and I needed a place with some good-ass poker. I ended up narrowing down my search to 3 cities: Las Vegas, LA, and Miami. Now first Vegas, the gambling capital of the world. No doubt there will be lots of money to be made. It seems like every damn pro in the world is there right now for the WSOP. Next, LA, home of some of the biggest poker live streams in the world. Tons of good poker rooms and great connections to be made. But honestly, fuck those taxes. And lastly, Miami. High stakes games, check. No taxes, check. And I managed to convince a friend to let me crash at his place for a few weeks. And thus, it was decided. Welcome to Miami. Out here in Miami, set up the streaming equipment. Going to be playing some online poker streaming for all of you guys. But while we're doing that, we're also going to be playing some live poker. That's what we really came here in Miami to do. Hard Rock, heard great things about it, the 2-5, 5-10 games. We're going to be playing some high stakes, and we're going to be building that bankroll from 50,000, which it is right now, all the way up to 100,000. That is the goal. I forgot to mention it, but I'm going to be in Miami till the end of June, only about 2 weeks from when I'm recording this. And my goal here in Miami is to make $10,000 by the end of the month, before I have to head back home to see my parents. If we don't hit that, frankly, I think my parents are going to disown me. I mean, they're pissed about me just completely dropping out of college. They haven't been talking to me much, but if I have some results to back this up, back up my decision, I think it'll really help. I'm definitely going to have to be dedicating more of my time to actually improving my poker game. I've gotten kind of complacent recently, just playing online maybe once or twice a week, but now that I'm playing live, playing some higher stakes, playing probably some better opponents even, I really got to hone in my skill, really just take it to the next level. We're here to take some kids' money, some adults' money, and we'll take anyone's money. So that's what we're here to do. Let's go to the casino. All right, first time at Hard Rock. This guy here. Fortunately, this is my first time. They only let me get 1,500. That just means we got to run it up. Can't lose early. Let's go. Okay, so unfortunately we get put on a wait list for the 5-10 tables, and thus I decide to explore the casino. I end up running into this goofy looking robo-dog. Can we get an instant replay on the woman calling for it as if it isn't a fucking robot? But anyways, I ended up missing my call on the wait list, and so I had to go back on the wait list for a second damn time. But finally, after like 3 hours, I get onto the 5-10 tables around 10 p.m. Alright, hopping into our first hand of the session, we're playing pocket 10s. Early position limps for $10, this Russian reg in the hijack raises to 50. And to add some context on this dude, I'm of course filming these hands with my phone. And after I peel my cards, I'll stop recording if the hand is bad. But this Russian guy to my right has been staring me down like a bottle of Stolnishkiga. Every time I peel my cards, clearly trying to get a tell on me. But anyways, back to the hand. We have a standard 3-bet in the cutoff with pocket 10s, and we raise it up to $200. The limper folds, but the Russian guy snap calls us. Flop comes out deuce, 4, 5, 2 diamonds. Russian checks out of position. And on a fairly good board for a range, I put out a C-bet for $150, which is around 40% of the pot. The Russian isn't backing down though, and quickly puts in the call. Turn comes the 4 of diamonds, bringing in the front door flush. The Russian checks once more. Here with pocket 10s, a marginal overpair with no diamonds, I think we benefit from protecting our check back range, as well as allowing our opponent to bluff on many rivers. And thus, we check back. River comes a non-conspicuous 8 of hearts. And our Russian friend goes for a 3rd check. Now at this point, I'm thinking about getting value after disguising the strength of our hands when we check on the turn. Pot is about $700. In game, I wanted to go around a half pot sizing, but I actually ended up miscalculating a little and bet 300. In hindsight, I wish I would have gone for a bigger sizing to the tune of $500 to $600, but our Russian buddy doesn't believe us and calls us down. We show our pocket tens, and we're good. I'm sure he's used to fighting bears back in his homeland, but he messed with the wrong predator this time.
What do you mean by that?
Soon after this, I get moved to the main 5-10 game. But this isn't just any 5-10 table. There's a $25 blind raise on the gun. The Nick game and the 7-deuce game are active. Basically, this table is wild, but we're ready for the challenge, and this might just be the table to take us to the promised land, and I forgot to record. So I'm just going to talk through this one. This is the biggest hand of the night with pocket nines. We're on the cutoff, and it folds to us. We raise $75, the small blind and the big blind call. The old Indian fellow with the $25 straddle squeezes to $575. We're playing about 3K effective, so I decide to call in position. However, I wouldn't mind jamming the spot either, and the two coward callers fold behind. Flop comes out an unamusing ace-10 deuce rainbow. On the ace-high flop, I'm anticipating him to c-bet, in which case I would fold. But our elder has some tricks up his sleeve as he plays the unexpected check. I immediately think about turning our hand into a multi-street bluff, aiming to get folds from hands like jacks through kings. However, I default to checking back with our weak showdown. Turn comes the king of hearts. Our opponent goes for an unconventional bet of $200. Nearly 1/6 the pot. Instantly, this screams weakness to me, and I remove any ace-x or better holdings from his range. I proceed to call with devious intentions on the river. River is the 10 of clubs, pairing the board. Our opponent continues to display weakness as he checks again. Given his line of checking the flop, betting the turn small, and then checking the river, I put him on a marginal showdown hand, which was better than my pocket nines. Something like king x, queens, or jacks. I wanted to bet a size to get folds from those hands, so I bet near pot, $1,500 into the $1,700 pot, turning our pocket nines into a bluff. And this clearly put Grandpa into the thick of it. I was nearly certain that I was going to get him to fold, but he tanked minute after minute, and I grew more nervous. Gramps was staring me down, and I was trying my best to feign confidence with my body language. But with age comes wisdom, and our friend managed to sniff us out after 5 minutes of tanking. He calls us and chose pocket jacks, $4,700 pot, and I dusted all my profits and was down to a measly $400. At this point, I was down $1,100 on the session, but winners don't give up. So I bought back in for another $2,300 and got my ass back on the tables. Now at the time of this rebuy, I've been playing for about 3 hours and it was 2 a.m. I felt like I'd started playing a bit better at this point, but wasn't making too much traction. We won a couple small pots and found ourselves with a stack of 3K at 4 a.m. when we played our last big hand of the night. For the last hand of the night, we got ace-jack suited in the small blind, and we face a middle position raise to $60. Out of position, we're playing a 3-better fold strategy, and thus elect to 3-bet this one to $200. Guy in the middle position, who by the way just looks exactly like Wolfgang, calls, and we go to the flop. King 7-3 rainbow. This king high disconnected flop is a great flop for us, so we decide to range bet for $150 around the third pot, and our opponent calls. Turn comes a brick, the 9 of clubs. On this turn, we don't pick up any additional equity in the forms of a flush or straight draw, and so we opt to just check out of position and essentially give up the hand. However, to our delight, Wolfgang's brother checks as well. River comes an interesting queen of hearts. So there's two things that I'm thinking about here. The check on the turn caps our opponent to at best a weak king holding, but most likely a middling pocket pair or 7x. Also, I will have a bunch of king x holdings as well as pocket queens and jack 10 suited on this river. Using this logic, I decide to turn our hand into a bluff and bet $500, around 3/4. Villain thinks for a minute before unleashing a dirty min raise to $1150. Question marks are flying through my head. Again, after checking the turn, I don't think he has any strong hands like 2 pairs, sets, or straights, whereas we essentially have an uncapped range and can represent queens, kings, and jack 10, which is the nuts. We're playing deep enough at 3K effective, where if I jam this river, I do generate some fold equity. Also, to my benefit in this specific hand, I know our opponent is a smart player and will actually be capable of making large folds. So we decide to slap our balls on the table and jam for $2,650. And you should have seen this dude's face the moment I jammed. You'd have thought he just ripped the wettest fart with the look of disgust on his face. He ends up tanking for what felt like an eternity. I needed this pot, my whole stack on the line. I could hear the echoes of my parents in the back of my head. And after 5 grueling minutes, he begrudgingly threw his cards in the muck. A rush of euphoria poured over me. I can do this. No, I will do this. So I ended up down 400 on the session in the end. Played until like 5 a.m. All right, just cashed out. We got here, cashed out. Final number was 3,400. Fortunately, we were in for 4,000, or actually 3,800. So loss of 400, not great. I mean, that was a lot of fun. Day one wrapped, long session. I think I put in 7 hours, 8 hours. I mean, I was here for probably 10 hours, but it took me 3 hours to get into the fucking game. Now it's all foggy, you guys can't even see me. Day one of the Miami trip. I was not planning to go this late, but it seems to always happen with me. I go down early and I just need to crawl back. I never just take the loss. It was a much tougher lineup than I was expecting. Expecting a couple of fish, but almost all night it was just a bunch of regs. Just wasn't much room to do anything against them. They kind of caught a couple of my bluffs, and, you know, they caught one in a 5K pod, and it was tough to recover from that. They were playing so solid. I mean, I was coming into this expecting some tough games, but yeah, definitely met the expectation, possibly even exceeded it, and this is going to be a tough bankroll challenge. Oh my god, I just got back to the apartment. I mean, it's literally completely light out. Look at this way, it looks so light over there. I mean, it's 6 a.m., so this is the one downside to grinding poker. It's actually a fault of my own, I just can't seem to give up. You know, we'll learn. That's all today's episode, all today's day was about. You know, we just got to Miami, new location, never been, new casino, never been. We're just getting accustomed to everything. You know, in these next episodes, we're gonna start crushing.
To your door. Will never disappear.